Hey guys, so in today's lesson, what we're going to be looking at, or tutorial, not really a lesson at all, but so a tutorial, we're going to be adding bombs. So we've already laid the groundwork for it with the item select screen. And so in our current item select screen, we can pretty much select any of the items that we would normally be able to. So we're going to just make bombs work, and there's a lot of interesting things that you can do with bombs. You can kill enemies with bombs, and you can also open up secret passageways. And so secret little doorways and stairwells and stuff like that, that's such an iconic part of Zelda. I remember growing up, when I first started playing this, I actually would like try to bomb every single place that could potentially be a doorway. So I bombed here, I bombed here, I bombed here, and so forth and so on. So yeah, I pretty much bombed every up place there was that you could see. So let's go ahead and bomb this right here. And so it allows us to open up a secret passageway. So that's part of what we're going to be doing. And then, we can go inside this secret passageway and see what's in here. So that's pretty much the bulk of the video. But as you can imagine, there is a lot of code that goes into this. So yeah. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let me go ahead and stop that because that's going to get super annoying. Whoops, get this side of the screen. I'm not planning on buying a $5 million property anytime soon, but I would like to. So let's. So some of the things that we definitely need a few more variables. And so let's go ahead and look at the variables that we're going to need. So the main one that comes to mind is the bombs array. So like right down here. So we're just going to say okay. And so the second thing, and it doesn't really matter where we put these. I'm just going to put them right underneath bombs, and I'm going to say let attack counter. This is going to be basically how we determine when we can drop a bomb or whatever. And then let be pressed equal false. And so be pressed is going to be a control that we're going to add to our key down handler. And so let's go down to our key down handler. And so right here, I'm just going to copy what we already have here. Paste it here. And then this is if E key code is equal to 66, that is going to be the B button. Okay, and then we're going to say be pressed is equal to true. And that's pretty much it. All right. And so, so let's see here. Let's see. Okay, inside draw link, I think we need to add something here. So let's go ahead. And so here, all these empty case statements. The one thing that we had a pickup item was for a sword, but these other things, you know, I guess we don't really need. Yeah, I guess we don't really need this. This is for if we pick it up, you know, it's going to show. But here is where we are going to need some stuff. So we're going to be using the bomb. So here, after this else statement and before is attacking with a sword, what we're going to say is if B pressed and current equipped item is equal to 1, that means we're using a bomb. And if we're using a bomb, we need to draw that image and then also create the bomb for the world objects, okay? The game objects. And so here we're just gonna have that animation counter plus plus. This is gonna tell us what animation we're on. And then we're gonna have a new variable called adjusted X. And then also adjusted Y. So adjusted X is gonna equal to link X link Y. And then what we want to do is we want to check what button was pressed last. Okay, so here we're just going to say if last button pressed is equal to down, and we're going to be able to copy and paste a lot of this stuff once we get the initial if statement in. And then here we're just going to ctx.draw image. And we're going to be drawing from link 1, starting at 0, 60. It's a 16 by 16 for link. Link X, link Y, 16 by 16. Okay, so that's perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to adjust our adjusted Y. So adjusted Y is plus equals 16 here. Okay, perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this a few times. And we can just go ahead and do an else if here. Okay, and so this is going to be up. This is going to be at 62. And all that looks fine, but adjusted Y is going to be a -8. And this is going to be left. This is going to be adjusted X. Adjusted X. This is going to be a -8. And this is going to be a plus 16 here. Now we do need to change this number right here. This is going to be 30. And this number right here is going to be 91. Okay, so that takes care of drawing the animation for him to place the bomb. And so now what we want to do is actually add the bomb to our world objects, or our bombs array rather. So here we're just going to say if animation counter is greater than 10, we're going to say B pressed is equal to false. Animation counter is equal to 0. And then we're going to create this new object. So it's a game object. Go is equal to new game object. And then we're going to say go.x is equal to the adjusted x. Go.y is equal to adjusted y. Go.isBomb is equal to true. And we're just going to push it into the bombs array. Let me go ahead and scroll up a little bit. And then we're going to play a sound. So we've pushed in the bombs array, and this is the drop sound. So we've dropped it. It hasn't gone off yet. So we're going to play that sound. So play sound. And our sound is going to be from the sounds folder, and it's going to be called LOZ. Wave. Okay, that looks good. And then so one thing we need to do is go. So this is once we've dropped it. There's going to be a few things that need to happen. We basically our game object collision now needs to take this in and say, well, you know, is it colliding with other game objects? So let's go ahead and go to our game object collision. So right here, this method signature right here, function signature, we're going to have to change up a little bit. So here we have XY objects, is link, is sword. And then right here we have direction. So direction is still going to be at the last, but we want to set game objects up so that it handles all the objects that we plan on adding in the next few tutorials. And so the first one is going to be is bomb, is candle, and is arrow. Okay. And all the other ones are the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So one thing that to note is that if your functions or methods are getting so large, there are so many parameters. That it's a good idea to start breaking that up. Okay, it means that your function is probably doing a lot more work than it should. Okay, but this is just a little passion project, and so we're not going to start breaking this function up just because that's what should happen. It's working for us, and so we're just going to keep it as is. But if we came back and wanted to refactor this later on, that's something that we might consider doing, not necessarily something that we would have to do. And so let's go ahead and okay, so this is if is link, and then so if it's link, it's going to do all that, but we want to say if it is a bomb. Okay, so I'm going to do it right before this else statement, and we're going to say else if is bomb, and this is going to be where a lot of the code is. It's just there's just a lot of code here. Okay, so let's see. We know we need to loop through the objects array. So here we're just going to do that. In fact, I'm just going to be very lazy and copy this for loop right here. So for that. And then what we're going to do is I am going to go ahead and copy this if statement. Why not? Okay, so we have this if statement. Now this if statement, we need to change this up a little bit. So this x, so we're going to do -8. And then we're going to do x plus 24. And then we're going to do y -8 and y plus 24. Okay, and so this right here are going to be the dimensions of our bomb explosion blast area. Okay, so that's that. And then so inside here, we're going to have some other statements. We're going to have, well, if objects at I dot is enemy, we're going to say hit enemy with bomb. So we're going to just do objects at I dot health. Minus equals 1. Okay. And then we're going to say objects at I dot needs bounce. Now this functionality is not here for us right now, but the bouncing aspect is going to need to be added at some point. And then here we're going to do get bounce location. So get, we're going to pass in the objects at I. We're going to say false and direction. Okay, and then we're going to say if objects at I dot health, if is less than or equal to 0, we're going to play the sound of an enemy dying. So play sound. Sounds LOZ enemy die. Okay, it is already there. Dot wave. Okay, so that's good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say let count equals 0 for let j equals 0 while j is less than objects.length j plus plus. Now keep in mind that the objects that we have for any one map are going to be super small. So when we get into these conditions where we have like n squared and maybe even n cubed things to look at, the space is going to be so small that you know, we don't really have to be too concerned about performance issues. So here we're just going to say what we're going to do here. Okay, I get it. So what we're going to do here is sometimes enemies, if you destroy all the enemies within a particular group, you get, for instance, a key in a dungeon or something like that. And so this is what we're going to be doing right here. We're just looking at all the enemies within a room or within a section of the map. And if all those enemies are dead, then, you know, then the item would appear or whatever. So this is what this count is doing. We're going to check to see if all the enemies are going to be dead. And here we're just going to say this if statement right here again. And here we're just going to increase the count. Okay, so that does that. And then so here, down here, we're going to say if count is equal to 1. And they have a group number, group item number. So a group item number is the item that they might drop if you know, if we killed them all. And so if count is 1, it means we're on the last enemy of that area. Okay, and so here we're going to say if objects at I dot group item number is equal to 1. We're going to add a new game object. So go is equal to new game object, geo dot x is equal to objects at I dot group item x. So these are properties that are on that particular enemy, and all the enemies within a particular group, if they have group item, they all have this property, and this just tells us where that key should appear within the map or whatever. Okay, and so go dot y is equal to objects at I dot group item y, geo dot width is equal to 8, geo dot height is equal to 16. Pickup G is key pickup. We're going to set equal to true. We're going to play the sound of a key appearing. Sounds LOZ appear dot wave. Okay, so there is another object, and this is a pickup item 17. I forget exactly which what item that is, but I already have it in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and code it out with you. That's going to be number 2, and this is going to be is pickup item. Oh, pickup item is equal to true. This is a heart container. So this is like when you get to the end of the dungeon, you get that heart container, or you find one in a cave. And so here we're just going to say go dot pickup item num is equal to 17. And the same sound appears, and then we're going to push that item. Oh, I didn't do it up there either. So here we're going to say game objects dot push geo. Okay, so we've added the objects, and now what we want to do, if you recall earlier in the video, when I showed you the walkthrough of what we would be doing. Actually, let me see here. I think we're not quite done with this section, although I want it to be done, but not quite done. Here, if count is equal to 1, and then what we want to do here is right below that if statement, we want to say if objects at I dot opens closed door. So by killing it, it opens a door. We're just going to splice it. Or actually, we're not doing anything yet because this functionality is not quite in yet. But once we bomb that enemy and this does happen, then we'll do that later on. So here, we at this point we want to say objects.splice from I to 1. All right. And then, so this is if object's health is, that, we kill it. But else, if the object's health is not less than or equal to 0, we're just going to say play sound. I'm just going to copy this. And this is going to be LOZ enemy hit. Okay, perfect. Okay, so right here, this is going to be if the object is an enemy. What if the object is not an enemy? What if the object is, say, a door? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to check to see, because that's, if we're inside, especially in a dungeon, then we have some things to consider. There's lots of little passageways that are we can use bombs on. Okay, so okay, sorry about that. So what we want to do is this. Let's say that this is going to be a door. Objects that is bombable. It's not even there. Is door. Okay, so this, we're going to put something here, but we're not going to do it right now because, you know, it's functionality that we're not going to use until we get into the dungeons. Okay, so the other condition is if it's just bombable. Okay. Let me just double check this, because if it's door, yeah. Okay, so this is mainly our portals in the above ground world. Okay, so the overworld, I suppose. And so if it's bombable, you know, it's going to do something. Mainly create that secret passage. And so here, to create that secret passage, we're just going to create a new game object. So here we're just going to say, let geo2, whatever, is equal to new game object. And so geo2 dot x is equal to geo2y opposite y geo2 dot width is equal to 16. Geo2 dot height is equal to 8. Geo2 dot new map is equal to objects I dot new map. So this is telling us where this passage is taking us. That's what that is. And this is going to tell us where on this new map we will land when we get in here. So this is going to be new link x is equal to 120. New link y is equal to 220. And so these above ground passageways, you're always going to land at the bottom middle of the screen. Okay, so that's basically all that is. And then here we have geo dot is stairs is equal to true. Geo dot is portal is equal to true. And then we're going to push that into our game objects. Game objects dot push geo2, and we're going to play the secret sound. Okay, so here we're going to play sound, LOZ, secret. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and, so inside of draw game objects, we have some things to put in. So this is get bounce location. So draw game objects, and I'll just do it at the very top, doesn't matter. So this is going to be if so if it is a sell rupee, that means that we're dealing with like one of those vendors in secret passageways or whatever. And so what we're going to do is we're going to draw it. That's just going to be a ctx.draw image. We're going to be drawing from link 1, 274, 225, 8, 16, game objects at I.x. Y. Okay, so that draws the image, and then in here we're going to see if it persists or doesn't. So here we're just going to say if. Actually, we'll add this code later on because we don't even have like this logic inside of our game yet at this point in our code. So we're just going to what are we going to do here? Yeah, I think this should be okay. All right, so I don't think we need to put anything here. And then let's go. Another thing that we need to draw is if it is a moblin, and I kind of want to draw that down to where we draw like the old man and stuff like that. Here we go. So if game objects at I.isMoblin, we need to draw it. And so I'm just going to take this draw image right here. And this is going to be enemies. And 0, 120. It's 16 by 16 game objects I. Okay, so this looks good. And then another thing we want to do is we want to add if it is so our stairwell. Okay, so we've created a secret passageway and it is stairs. All right, and so here we're going to say if dot stair type is equal to 0, then we're going to draw that particular stairwell. I'll probably just get rid of this right now. Okay, so this is going to be drawn from world tiles. And the 0 stairwell is going to be at 103 on that sprite sheet. 1, 16, 16, and all that looks fine. Now there are other stair types, and so I'm just going to if stair type is equal to 1, or if stair type is equal to 2. I think all we're doing is changing these two numbers real quick. So this is going to be 120, and this is going to be 18. and this is going to be 205, and this is going to be 18. Okay, so that looks good. We have one other thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy this because a lot of them is going to be similar. And so here we have is bombable. Okay, and then this is going to be like bush type, and I should have said like rock type or whatever, but I'd already had bush type as a parameter or a variable, and so I just stuck with the bush type. But here we're going to be drawing from rolled tiles, and this is going to be 18. This is going to be 52. And everything else is the same here. I'm going to copy this. And if bush type is 1, this is going to be 120 and 52. So 120, 52, everything else is the same. Okay, and so that leads us to draw bombs. Let's see here. Okay, so here, I guess we could just go ahead and add it right here. So here we're going to say function draw bombs, and so we're going to loop through our bombs. So we're going to say for let I is equal to 0, I is less than bombs.length I plus plus. And then we're going to increase the bombs at I counter. So bombs at I dot counter plus plus. And we're going to see if it has exploded yet. So we're going to say if has exploded. So if it's exploded, what do we want to do? We want to check the counter. If it's greater than 20, we want to reset the counter. And we're going to set that equal to true. And then here we're just going to say so this is if the bomb has actually started countdown, then we want to increase its frame and reset the counter. So here we're just going to say bombs at I dot frame plus plus, and then here we're going to say bombs at I dot counter is equal to 0. Now this is a fast counter. It essentially goes from 0 to 1 and then reset back to 0. So the frames are like really fast. Okay. So now we want to check, well, what frame is it on? And this is where things get a little tedious. But we're only going to mess with the frames that have distinct logic, like logic that's not found in other frames. And I'll explain what that looks like in just a second. So here we're going to say if bombs at I we're going to draw the image, and I'll just copy this now. ctx.draw image, and this is going to be link 2, 129, 185, 8, 16. This is just the bomb lane there, okay? Bombs at I.x, bombs at I.y, and then 8 and 16. Okay, and then what if the frame is equal to 1? Okay, so here we're just going to say bombs at I.frame, and so here we're going to do a play sound, and it's going to okay, so we played that sound, and now we need to draw 4 separate images, okay, to make this bomb explosion look like the original, somewhat. So here, we're still going to be drawing from link 2. This is going to be 138, 185. This is going to be 16, and this is going to be 16. And now this bombs at I.x, we're going to subtract 16 from. Okay, and I'm just going to copy and paste this because we need it several more times. And so here, we're going to add 8 to it instead. And we're going to subtract 16 from the y. This we're going to do nothing to the x, and we're going to do nothing to the y. And this one we're going to subtract 8 from the x, and we're going to add 16 to the y. Okay, and then now what we have is frames 2 through 8. Okay, so here what we're going to do is basically they alternate. So so what is minus here in the next frame, it becomes plus, and what's plus here becomes minus. And that happens for the next 7 frames. And so here we're just going to say else if, and this looks like a typo, bombs at I.frame is less than 9, and bombs at I.frame mod 2 is equal to 0. So we're just seeing if it's a multiple of 2. And if it is, we're essentially going to do this, but just reverse the numbers. Here we're going to do 138, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so here instead of plus, this will be, instead of minus, this will be plus, minus, plus, plus, minus. And essentially I'm going to do this again. If it's less than 9 and it's equal to 1, then we're going to be using these numbers right here. Okay, now what if it's less than, so we're going to go all the way up to 16. All right, so here we're going to say else if, and then we're just going to copy this last part. And now if, so if it's a multiple of 2 down here, it changes because the first one, it's like a shadow, like a lighter bomb blast, but this one is not. So this one, instead of 138, this one is going to be 155. But all the other numbers are exactly the same. And I'm just going to copy this. And we can just do this, or we could have just made it an else. Okay. Here, down here, we have one condition on if the frame is equal to 16, and I'm just going to add it at the end. If it's equal to 16, we want to call game object collision. So game object collision bombs at I.x, bombs at I.y, game objects, false, false, true, false, false, up. So this doesn't really matter, this direction when it comes to bombs. And then we're going to splice the bomb because we've come to the end of the explosion. Okay. Looks like we don't have a lot left to add. So let's go down to our draw game objects, or our draw screen. And so inside, remember we changed the signature of this method. And so here we're going to do link X, link Y, game objects, true. And then here we're going to do false, 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 and false. Okay. And then this should also have a direction, but you know, if there is no direction, it will just do the default. So that's assuming that there's a direction that's even needed for whatever. So here, one thing that we could do is do our draw bombs. Okay. And so let's actually see what this does. You know, we may be in for some errors. I don't know. Hopefully it's error free. But it does not appear to be. Okay, so here, do an inspect, console, else 1157. Right here. So if, else if, else if. Okay, so there could be quite a few errors. We wrote so much code without checking anything. So 1996. Okay, so this is a let. Okay, oh, this is promising. Only 2 issues. So I'm going to move over to the second one. I'm going to hit the space bar. And it's not going to do anything. Okay, but it should. So space bar is not working. Actually, let's refresh this and let's see if I can do. Okay, let's do this. Let's say current equip item is equal to 1. Okay, so that sets it equal to our bomb. Let's see if bombs will actually work. Okay, so we do have some issues, and it says that link to is not defined at a lot of different places for 2020. So we need to add link to into our code, it seems. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. So just up here, we're just going to say new image link2.src is equal to link2.png. Okay, let's see what this does. Go ahead. We do need to change this, but I'm just seeing if this current equipped item is equal to 1. Okay, we got our bomb set. And let's go back to the main screen. Okay, typo on 2056. Okay, 2056. Bombs. Okay, so we do have some other issues. So 762, let's go ahead and fix that real quick. 762. Objects. Okay, so getting close. So that's that. One thing I want to do is let's go ahead and set our current map. So right here, we're going to set our current map to 1. Okay, so we're going to test out that secret. So let me go ahead and do our current item selected. Current selected item. Current equipped item. Okay, so that looks great. The only thing that we are lacking here is the current equipped item. So let me just look at this real quick. Let's go and look at, I guess, our draw inventory screen. Maybe that's where we can find some clues. If is attacking, maybe this is not actually working. So let's look at our space bar. Is attacking is equal to true. Oh, let's take out this has sword here. Okay, so we don't have a sword at the beginning. And so let's just say can attack again, because if you can attack again and you don't have a sword, you can't do anything anyways, so no big deal. Okay, so now I can select with my space bar the bomb. I know it's not showing up there. That's because we actually haven't picked up anything in the world. Okay, so this is what we set off to accomplish. Now the rupee doesn't work yet. That will. I think this is like a 20 rupee secret or something like that, whatever. That logic's not really in the game yet. It is in my final game, but not in the tutorial version. But really, this was just to show you the bomb logic. Okay, so we will get to that. So yeah, this is a big step forward. Now that we're starting to use other items, we could start to add things like the boomerang and stuff like that. And maybe add additional bomb logic. And so to get this, maybe you're on the old version of the maps file, okay? And so in the current code on the Git repo, I've updated the maps file for us, so you don't need to do anything to it. But definitely look in there. In fact, I'll just show you what that kind of looks like right now. Let's go to this. So if we're in map 1, so that's what we changed our map, and right here there is going to be, you know, a secret. Okay. To do that, you just go down here, and so these look like enemies. You set up one of these objects. You're going to tell it where it is on the map. You're going to say, is it bombable? And if it's bombable, you're going to say, what is the color of it? That's bush type. And then where does this go to? Okay. So if it's bombable and it's a bush type, and we have our bomb has collided with it, it's going to create a passage to this new map. And that passage is now going to be the object, the game object on that map. Okay, so basically that's that. And if we left the area and came back, it should persist. Okay, so we'll leave the area. Uh-oh. So for some reason, let's try it. Oh, these stairs are not currently working because we don't have logic in place for the stairs, but this should work. Yeah, there's something wrong with the maps file there. It should actually go to the next screen, and it looks like it's going to the 0th screen. So let me just go ahead and fix that real quick. So right here, I'll tell you what, I'm not exactly seeing it right now, but yeah, I'm gonna have to fix this later on because that's an issue. But it does persist. Okay, so that's all I was really showing you anyways. There are some issues with some of the maps. Some of these maps were not exactly created by me. I had a class of students when we were making the very beginnings of Zelda in one of my high school classes. I had them make a certain amount of maps for each of them. So a lot of this legwork in here was, was done by others. And then I went, a lot of this stuff, all the game object stuff, it was done by me. So I'd still put in the majority of the work here. And then I had to go back and change maps because, with different students, you get different quality of work. Different definitions of done, and so that was an issue. Okay, so that's going to conclude today's video. We're going to have another video very soon. I kind of want to work out some of this logic for the flute and stuff like that, so that's going to be, coming very soon. And I will see you then. The next video that I'll actually be doing will be a Street Fighter video, kind of like trying to break it, break my time up evenly between that and this, and then also Leet Code. I'm I'm in the market for a better job. I'm currently a software engineer, but I'm looking I'm looking for a substantial pay increase. Right now, my salary is right at roughly 100K, but that's I want more. Who doesn't want more, right? So yeah, that's where all my time is right now, is leak code. And then, as you have seen, I've been putting some leak code videos in a playlist on the channel. So that's where we're at. But look forward to another Zelda video very, very soon. And I'll see you then. Like and subscribe. If you have not liked and subscribed any videos, do that, and I would very much appreciate it. All right, thanks. Bye.